Hey, so welcome back to the VET S.O.S. Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight. Hey, so remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline. The Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight is proud to be affiliated with the Neil Haley Show and sponsored by Spirit Point Solution. So at Spirit Point Solution, they're online one-stop shop for leading-edge products, services, and training from multiple vendors. So they do your AI training to your corporate gifts and so many different other things they can do for you. They have everything you need to help your organization thrive in a modern economy. So check them out, all the valuable offerings at spiritpointonline.com. I'll say that website again, spiritpointonline.com. And remember to use our code VET S.O.S on anything that you purchase there to help us continue our mission of improving the lives of those who have served. On today's show, man, I'm excited about this show. So we have Miss Kate Hufnagel. She is the founder and CEO of Digital Wrangler, a business born from her years in the intelligence community and navigating life as a military spouse. With a 25-year military career in big tech, 25-year career in tech, big tech, her um, behind her, Kate now helps families and small business owners organize the information that matters most so they're ready for unexpected, not just an inevitable. She loves educating small business owners and families on how our modern day world is a complexity multiplier when it comes to this traditional taboo topic. She's also a bonus mom of two adult children, is passionate about financial literacy, and is on a lifelong quest to find the best donut in the world. We're going to talk about that donut in the world in a minute. How you doing today, Kate?
Maurice, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for welcoming me onto the VETS SOS podcast. Really excited to be here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here for us. So before we get into the donuts, let's talk a little bit more business. So let's talk about too when you were getting ready to transition out. Like what was that like for you when you were getting transition out? When you're going from this structure of military life, you're in a every day you know what you're doing. Is really no guesswork there. To come into a civilian life, what we call civilian life. Um, what were the three major things or big lessons that you learned, and then how'd you overcome those?
Yeah, Maurice, I think this is such a great question, and I do want to be specific and clear with your community. While I did not wear the uniform, as a former member of the intelligence community, I felt like, we are kind of kindred spirits. I worked in the shadows and enabled some military operations to occur.
Okay.
But looking back on my career in the intel community, the three things that I keep coming back to are these: being prepared for the unexpected, right?
Okay.
Similar to the military world, in the intelligence world, we know that life could change in an instant. I lost colleagues who were killed overseas. I was even in a car accident one early morning on the way to work at Langley, but the mission still had to go on. So that mindset of always being ready
Mhm.
really became a cornerstone of how I help people prepare for the inevitable or the unexpected. And I would also say that the intelligence community demanded rigor, right? Deadlines, precision, that the ability to execute under pressure, similar to our nation's military. That discipline is something that I've carried into my entrepreneur journey, and it helps me stay focused, even when that work gets a little challenging or uncomfortable, or it's, let's face it, not so sexy. Um,
Right.
and then lastly, I would say my perspective and resilience, right? Working in the intel and the military environments, it's high stakes. And what we learned was not to sweat the small stuff and
Mm.
to maintain perspective and bounce back quickly. So that resilience has really been essential in helping me navigate entrepreneurship, because when do things go as planned? Not
Yeah,
often.
not often. Not at all. Not at all. So now you're coming from the Intel community, um, which for those who are listening to the show, um, tell me if I'm wrong. Intel folks are mostly in this little room, off in this dark room with screens and on the phone, or they're doing some very secret mission behind the curtain. Um, if you haven't known that, so that's how the Intel that I was raised up in the military. You rarely ever saw those folks, and when they came out of that little dark room with the curtain and all that stuff pulled, It looked like they've been there for weeks. So my question is, how does that time and intel really say to you, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur? What was that spark that gave you to say, hey, I want to do entrepreneur to build your own business?
Oh, that's a great question. So I spent 25 years, mostly in the Intel, later on a little bit in the DoD world,
Hmm.
supporting the Air Force. Um, but what I realized was I didn't want to keep up that hustle of climbing those ladders. I wanted
Mm.
to create something that was deeply meaningful to an individual, say, rather than national security. So I'm a little bit of a freak. I'm not afraid to use that word. I wrote my first will when I was 28. Well, I didn't write it. I had an attorney write it. I
Okay.
had my first medical emergency at the age of 37. Who knew that someone could be anaphylactic to lentils? And then I had a second medical emergency at the age of 43. And what I noticed was a gap. People weren't preparing for the inevitable or the unexpected. And after working in big tech, I realized that that digital world was making things harder, not easier for loved ones left behind. So, in essence, I wanted to put my technical skills, my project management experience, and quite frankly, my organizing mindset to solve a problem that I believe touches every family and small business owner.
Got you. Got you. So now we're both entrepreneurs. Now that you're in the thick of it, um, what's been that most rewarding part about being an entrepreneur? And then the follow-on question to that is, what's the thing that wakes you up each day to make you want to hustle so hard each day?
Well, I'll tell you, it all comes down to impact, right? So
Mm,
knowing that I'm helping people when
absolutely.
it matters,
Yes.
whether that's when someone passes away or when a business is changing hands, it's huge. I'm actually just opening up my phone because I got a text message yesterday
Uh-huh.
after I spent 2.5 hours with a client. And so she texted me last night while I was having dinner. And she says, Kate, you're the best. Thank you so much. It was a long, intense session, and yet I have so much more peace and confidence. And that's what lights me up, right? Giving my clients that empowerment
Mm,
and get them out of that overwhelm. And then also just that legacy concept, right? It's not just about running a business. I'm trying to shape how people think about their definition of legacy and give them practical tips to think also about continuity and succession, and ultimately just normalizing conversations around these traditionally sticky topics.
absolutely. Wow. Impact. So, I mean, we talk about impact a lot in the service space. You want to impact as so many people as you possibly can. So that's amazing that you had that to say. Now, we know that impact sometimes may fall on deaf ears, or
Mhm.
we don't get the type of um, result that we're looking for from our customers, or sometimes we may just things that are out of our control. We may fall short. Now, and those things happen as an entrepreneur. So now, how do you overcome that? And what's the most frustrating part about that journey? And that, I mean, like I said, then how do you deal with it?
Mm. Yeah, like no one likes to think about any of this stuff. Like we think that we're going to, live forever, right?
Yes.
But even Ben Franklin said that there's two guarantees, right? Taxes, and we're going to
Yeah.
pass away, right?
Exactly.
Um, and so I spend a lot of time educating the public.
Hmm.
And I trust that over time, that education will allow individuals to lean into that topic when they're ready. And for some of my clients, they've been following me for 3 or 4 years, and then they finally say to me, okay, I'm ready to work with you now. So I have to have a lot of patience. Um, and so if my education isn't effective, if my YouTube channel isn't effective, if my email newsletter isn't effective, I just keep going. And I keep going because the unintended consequences of the digital age are significant. Hundreds, if not thousands of hours are being spent by loved ones to unravel a loved one's digital legacy, or they're paying for attorneys who likely are not going to be successful against the big tech companies. So I go back to what I was saying earlier, Maurice. I stay focused on my mission. I
Hmm.
use education, speaking opportunities, storytelling to gently pull people into this discussion,
Uh-huh.
with my overall goal being to normalize these conversations, whether it's over Sunday brunch or you're out with friends over tacos.
Got you. Got you. So now, since you didn't wear the uniform, were you able to take advantage of any resources, um, as a in working in Intel space, DoD?
Well, not so much from the Intel community, but my husband is a 27-year military veteran, and I did meet him after he retired.
Okay.
But I live in Colorado Springs, and we have 5 military installations here in town,
Hmm.
and I am so blessed because there are veterans everywhere I look who are becoming or already are entrepreneurs. In addition, my local small business development center has been a godsend. I'm also involved with my local chamber of commerce and the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals.
Got you. Got you. So now, since you didn't, you did. So let me get into this real quick.
Mhm.
So now, tell us about your business, Digital Wrangler. What exactly you do? Who do you serve, and what makes your company different than anything else that's out there?
Mm. So, the Digital Wrangler, I specialize in helping people organize their legacy information, their passwords, and business continuity details.
Uh-huh.
So in essence, I help families and small business owners organize the critical life and business data, whether that's digital assets, passwords, essential documents, so that they're prepared for the inevitable or unexpected. And what makes me unique is that I bring together my big tech experience, my project management discipline, and my organizing skills with a compassionate, judgment free approach. It's not just about the documents and the
Okay.
data, it's about peace of mind and continuity.
Got you. So for your business, do you work closely with estate planners, attorneys? Do you work hand in hand with those type of folks in the industry?
I do. I've partnered with estate attorneys across the country. Sometimes they hire me to do an event for their clients. Sometimes we do a joint event. I also partner with, we'll call them end of life slash funeral slash cremation companies here in Colorado. I believe, are one of only 2 states that now order natural burial options.
Okay.
And who else do I also partner with the Small Business Development Center? I've spoken at their national conference, and I also partner with maybe in-home care agencies, right? As loved ones start to get older, they may start to lose the ability to keep track of all of their digital accounts and assets.
Got you. So now, here's another following question to that. So now you do everything in a digital space. You have the capability to maybe store or house like important documents such as wills, trust? Do you play any part in that type of in that space?
I'm going to say technically no, because I
Okay.
don't want the liability associated with housing someone's critical information.
Got you.
But I meet clients where they are. And in some cases, I'm guiding them to an existing digital tool and
Okay.
helping them use that tool. In other cases, they don't want to use a tool, but I'm guiding them on how to gather all that information so that they can store it on either their own device or their own accounts.
Got you. Got you. So now, where can people learn more about the business, connect with you? Where should they go to get that done?
The easiest way to connect with me is to go to thedigitalwrangler.com. On that webpage, you can download my free estate and life organizer, or you can follow me on your favorite social channel.
Got you. So you're on all platforms, the Facebooks, the LinkedIn's, you're on everything.
The Facebooks, the LinkedIn, the Substacks, the YouTubes, the Instagrams, everywhere.
Perfect. So you can be found on the digitalwrangler.com and all your social media platforms. All right. So before we go, I got to ask this question. So you in your bio, you talked about finding the best donut. Was it in the world?
Yeah, I'm still on that quest.
So as of today,
Uh-huh.
August, was it 29th, 2025?
Uh-huh.
Who has and where is the best donut in the world currently?
So from my perspective, Portland, Oregon is home to Blue Star Donuts. And I
Portland.
believe, in my experience, they've
Uh-huh.
got the best donut.
So Portland, Oregon, Blue Star Donuts, best in the world. Who's a
Uh,
who's a close second, you would say?
I'm never asked a second, Maurice. Dang, you set me up.
Oh man, there we go.
There's a place here in Colorado Springs that makes these like mochi donuts.
Uh-huh.
So they are gluten-free. Now, I happen to be gluten-full despite my food allergies.
Okay.
But the fact that they're gluten-free, I am extremely surprised on how great they taste.
Got you. Okay, so we're still trying to figure out who's gonna be that close second. So last question before we go. How long have you been doing this to find the best donut in the world?
Almost a decade.
Really?
Yeah, I try and get a donut everywhere I go. So I'm going to be traveling to San Antonio in November,
Uh-huh.
Austin also in November, and then to Central Connecticut in November. I've got a big docket of speaking engagements in November. So if anyone in your audience has some tips, hopefully they'll post it in the comments on YouTube and tag me so that I can go check those places out.
Absolutely. So right now, Kate states that Portland, Oregon, Blue Star Donuts has the best donuts in the country. In the world, I'm sorry. In the world, Craig. In the world. All right. So we're gonna end on that note. Find her at digitalwrangler.com. So go find out more information about what she does and how she can serve you better. So I want to thank you all for joining the VET S.O.S podcast today. On behalf of the VET S.O.S family and all of us here at VET S.O.S, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. You can find VET S.O.S podcast on all your favorite platforms, YouTube, and also social media platforms. And make sure to subscribe and follow the VET S.O.S so you don't miss anything. And remember, please don't drown in the seal transition. Grab the VET S.O.S lifelines.